Let's do that. All right, ready? All right, everybody, welcome back, and this is Them Wrestling Guys, and we're going to talk about our top 4,
our Mount Rushmore
of wrestling. So recently read an interview of Ric Flair talking about his top 3, and he named Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan, and The Undertaker, and I agree with one of those. So we're going to go through, and I'm going to give you my first one, and this is, I guess, not in order, but I will tell you who my number 1 is when we're done. So my first one is Stone Cold. What's yours?
I will also go with Stone Cold.
All right, so Stone Cold is a guy, stunning Steve Austin. He really didn't have a direction. And then this is one of those guys who the King of the Ring tournament absolutely changed his career. Because after that, like, his career just skyrocketed and there was no ceiling on it. Austin 316 says, "I just whooped your ass." That's where it all was born, right there. King of the Ring tournament when he won that. And after that, like, his feud with Mr. McMahon, even with, like, Shawn Michaels and The Rock, like, some of the best feuds of the Attitude Era.
Mm-hmm.
And probably one of the best talkers, top 3, I would say, all time.
I will go with Stone Cold for the reason that he is the reason I started watching professional wrestling. I was probably only 8 years old, watching Raw, leading right up to SummerSlam, Highway to Hell. And to me, I loved his rivalry with Mr. McMahon, the Corporation, The Rock, Triple H, but it was the rivalry of him and The Undertaker. And I could not help but to just keep watching Monday night after Monday night after Monday night. Those two delivered. First pay-per-view I ever saw, and that was the main event. Him and Undertaker, Madison Square Garden, Highway to Hell. And I think that match is not underrated, but it was so overshadowed because right before that you had the legendary ladder match between Triple H and The Rock for the Intercontinental Championship. But you go back and you watch that match, it is
as legendary as another ladder match.
Pure wrestling between those two. Undertaker's top rope leap off the, top rope through the announcer's table onto Austin. It was a great match. And like I said, Stone Cold, the greatest Raw moment in history, the beer truck.
I was there.
We were both there. Happened right down the road from
together.
us. Not together.
We weren't together then.
No.
We're together now.
Right down the road, though, in Albany, New York, which is not that far from either one of us. So don't be creeping on us now. Or you can. If you do, just subscribe at least. Be generous if you're going to creep on us.
Number 2. I'm going to go with Hulk Hogan. So I agree with Ric Flair on this. Like, in the 80s and, like, the early 90s, like, you couldn't think about wrestling without thinking about Hulk Hogan. He was everywhere. When he signed with WCW, it broke a lot of kids' hearts who were WWF fans at the time.
Who flushed your vitamins down the toilet after that.
I literally stopped drinking out of bottles because of Hulk Hogan. Like, this dude changed my life. And so he is wrestling. Like, even to this day, like, amidst all the shame that he's brought upon himself, he's still Hulk Hogan for, like, he'll always be, like, a big influence on wrestling. Whether or not you like him is irrelevant. He's synonymous with the WWF, the WCW, the NWO. Like, when that heel turn is the best heel turn in the history of heel turns, no question. So, Stone Cold and then Hulk Hogan.
Yep, and even though when I got into professional wrestling, Hulk Hogan was well into WCW, part of the NWO, I will still make him, maybe not in order, but I will make him the second guy, I guess, on my Mount Rushmore of wrestling. You look at what he did, same thing. You cannot talk about wrestling without hearing about Hulk Hogan. You look at years of John Cena main event in WrestleMania after WrestleMania. Now Roman Reigns is the guy doing that. Hulk Hogan, he main evented WrestleManias 1, 2, 3. all the way up well, maybe not every single one, but all the way up until WrestleMania 9. He was WrestleMania. He was a big part of it. And honestly, I think he helped propel pro wrestling into a whole nother level.
He literally was bigger than wrestling.
Yes.
So, I mean, it is what it is. A lot of kids got into wrestling because of him. Like, my grandfather watched WCW. Like, he only watched WCW. But, like, he knew who Hulk Hogan was. Everybody knew who Hulk Hogan was. So, I feel like he's the reason that wrestling reached the Attitude Era. Not that he's the reason it got there, but he's the reason it stayed afloat those years.
Hulk Hogan is one of those few guys out there who is bigger than the world title.
Yeah, honestly, even though he's a dick. But moving on, number 3, not in order. I'm gonna have to go with John Cena. I mean, he's another one of those guys. He's like Hulk Hogan. Like, you can't think about wrestling nowadays and not know John Cena. Even people who don't know about wrestling know who John Cena is. He's in movies. He's hosting Nickelodeon shows. He does award shows. Like, he's everywhere. He's probably, I think, at this point, holds the record for most dreams granted on Make-A-Wish. I think he is, honestly.
Yes.
But he's everywhere. He influences kids. He started as a heel, but then, like, he became this thing that was just like Hogan, you know? Kids could look up to him. He did all the right things. He cared about the military. Like, he's an amazing person, and that doesn't mean that I like him personally as a wrestler. Like, I'm not saying I'm his biggest fan. I'm just being objective here and saying, like, best wrestlers of all time, John Cena would have to be in that discussion for me. So,
let's see, number 3 for me. No, we picked Austin and Hogan based on how much further they propelled pro wrestling and, to the next level. I'm going to go with somebody based on just being one of, if not the best in-ring performer of all time, and that will be the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. You cannot go back in his career and pick out many matches that underdelivered, or that were. You look at his great tag team matches with Marty Jannetty, even though I'm sure there's not many people might think of off the top of their head, because Shawn Michaels' career, like Austin had the 316 speech, Michaels definitely became a key player when he portrayed Marty Jannetty on the barbershop.
Super kick
right through the glass. I honestly, to this day, that's, I think, what propelled Michaels into one of the big next, superstars of pro wrestling. And very much predicted he lived up to any hype that he had after that. The great, amazing ladder match at WrestleMania 10 with Razor Ramon. And that was such a great match. I think people forget that later on that summer, that same year, they had another great ladder match at SummerSlam.
Not as good as the first one.
Not as good as the first, but I think you know what it is. The problem with that is you go back and you watch matches, and I think the same thing goes with, like, movies. Sometimes if you do something for the first time, it's so iconic because you are seeing it for the first time that you think, like, nothing else can live up to that or deliver. And you look, I mean, I'm not saying it is or isn't the best ladder match of all time.
It's the OG ladder.
But it is, yes, it is the OG. We've said before, Triple H and Rock had an amazing ladder match. And, there are...
That triple threat tag team match?
At WrestleMania 2000?
Edge and Christian, the Hardys, and
Dudleys.
the Dudleys.
Not even a TLC match. No. They made it a TLC match.
It was amazing.
But it was just billed as a triple threat ladder match. Yeah. And I'm not even thinking outside of a ladder match, but I should. Bret Hart, Iron Man match. Mm-hmm. WrestleMania 12, his first world title. Amazing match against, even later on in his career, when he came back from back injury. 4 years. He came back like nothing ever happened to him. Great matches against Ric Flair. Hands down, for me, the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. Him and The Undertaker, WrestleMania 25. That's just my opinion, but that's a main reason why Michaels would be my number 3. Just not many out there that could outperform him, if any.
Speaking of Shawn Michaels, he is, to me, the GOAT, the best, the greatest of all time, my favorite, Mr. WrestleMania, the showstopper, the Heartbreak Kid. He's just a sexy boy. I won't do any more. I get really excited.
We want subscriptions.
So, yeah, I know. So, let's see. I wrote some stuff down because I couldn't remember all this stuff because this is so much stuff. He main evented WrestleMania 5 times. His first Intercontinental Championship was in 1992. I believe he later got hurt. Razor Ramon won it, but he came back saying he never had it. And then that was the double Intercontinental Championship, and that was the ladder match, right?
Yes.
The 2 IC titles. He co-creator of DX with Triple H. I mean, DX is iconic. They probably helped more than anybody to get WWE through the Monday Night Wars with, along with Stone Cold and The Rock. So, 4-time world champ. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, especially when you say Ric Flair's got 16, John Cena's got 16 now?
Yep.
It doesn't seem like a lot, but they were long title reigns, and they were significant. 2-time Royal Rumble winner, and he's the only person to win it from the first position. That still holds true, right?
Really?
Yeah. Who did it?
There's one other person that won it at number 1.
Stone Cold?
Nope. One person that will never get acknowledged for doing it.
Then I don't know who it was.
For anybody that's new to wrestling or didn't watch it years ago, don't Google his name when we say it, because you'll find out other results. But that man would be named Chris Benoit.
Chris Benoit. All right. Yeah, I had no idea. I didn't remember that.
For anyone living under a rock, just know he did something bad.
He did something bad. All right, fine, whatever. That's why nobody really recognizes that, so he's out. First, he's the first WWE Grand Slam champ, 2-time Hall of Famer in 2011 and in 2019, just this past year. When I googled it, he has a record 11 matches of the year, which I don't think anybody else has. Yeah, so I don't know. To me, like, the stuff that he's done, and a lot of people will say, like, oh, he was a jerk, he was on drugs, okay.
Who wasn't back then?
Good for you. Who wasn't doing drugs back then? He got clean. He found Jesus. Good for him. He's Sean Hickenbottom now. Respect him. He's the GOAT. He's the best you'll ever see. You know what? He's the best there is.
Oh.
The best there was. And the best there ever will be. Hashtag tag Bret Hart in this so he can see it. I don't care. Bret Hart's overrated. I said it. Attack me down there in the comments. I don't care.
It's okay, because honestly, that will not be the worst thing that a fan has said or done to Bret Hart this year.
That's true. He got attacked at the Hall of Fame.
By the way, whoever you are, you're a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, that wasn't cool, man. He was talking about his tag team partner, Anvil, with his daughter there. Like, yep. Not cool, man.
Which, Jim Neidhart, bud, we miss you. It doesn't matter if you were still a wrestler like Eddie Guerrero or Brian Pillman, or you've been long retired like Jim Neidhart.
Yeah.
We're gonna miss you no matter what.
Yep.
You guys put your bodies through so much. We have nothing but respect for you guys.
Even Bret Hart.
Even Bret Hart.
Well, even though I don't think...
I shouldn't say it like that. You should say it like that.
Yeah, even Bret Hart. But, yeah. So, Shawn Michaels is the GOAT. Number 1. Biggest head on Mount Rushmore.
So, let's see. You have HBK, Hogan, Austin, and who was your fourth?
John Cena.
John Cena. So I have Austin. So I agree with you on three of them.
Okay, so
the fourth one I'm saving for last because, like HBK is with you, he's my all-time favorite. Austin is the reason why I watch pro wrestling, but this guy is the reason why I kept watching pro wrestling. I have no more respect for this guy for him than anybody else. The most respect for him, and obviously he's telling you, The Undertaker. I respect this man more than anybody in pro wrestling, and that's not because I have very little respect for other people. It's just because you look at the things that man has done for pro wrestling, WWE alone, Monday Night Wars, and he's equivalent to the WCW and with Sting was with WCW. Those two men never turned their back on those companies. They stay true right to the very end. And well, Undertaker,
let's be honest, Undertaker never wrestled for WCW after the Monday Night Wars, but Sting wrestled for WWE.
I'm sure he doesn't regret that, though. Technically. But honestly, Undertaker, you'll probably never see this. If anybody can show this to him, please do. Undertaker, I'm going to kiss your ass right now. You're my all-time favorite. If I could ever meet you, even for 5 minutes, let's please make it happen so I could just shake your goddamn hand and say thank you. But honestly, Undertaker, like I said, he's had one of the greatest matches of all time, WrestleMania 25, Shawn Michaels. The year after was not even fell short that much compared to 25. Even 26 was almost just as good. The rivalry between him and Austin in SummerSlam was such a great build-up. Anything... Damn cats. By the way, he used to be deadly terrified of cats, so this is an amazing step right now. But, I mean, what can I say about The Undertaker? Just like Michaels was the first man at number 1 to win a Rumble, Undertaker was the first man at number 30 to win a Rumble. I'm just saying he made history. He made history! And he's another man, too, where he's had such a great career that the amount of world titles he held compared to other people like John Cena, Triple H, Randy Orton is so ridiculously small.
Another point about The Undertaker, I'm not going to replace him with any of my 4, but his character changed with the times, and he put it over every time.
Oh, yeah.
You had the original Undertaker, who was, pallbearer, controlled by the urn. Like, he was a machine, basically. And he transformed into the next Undertaker and the American Badass, and then back to the Undertaker, and it works every time he does it because he's so good. People forget about who was he in WCW?
Oh God, I feel terrible that I can't even remember this.
Callis.
Was it like Mean Mark? Mean Mark
Callis or something? Yeah. So like people forget about that. Like, people forget he actually wrestled before he was the Undertaker.
Oh, let's put it this way, too. You're talking about Hulk Hogan's heel turn being the greatest heel turn in the history of heel turns. I don't care how many people did not approve of the American Badass character, even though I don't want to call it a character because he's actually more like the American Badass outside of wrestling compared. Yeah. I mean, he is definitely one of those guys also I would not mess with. His return to pro wrestling in 2000 Judgment Day, or his, debut of the American Badass, I think is hands down one of the best returns I've ever seen in pro wrestling. The creepy intro, you go back and you watch that Iron Man match, Triple H and The Rock, back when those two were the two carrying that company when Stone Cold was out for a year with a neck injury. Yeah. When Undertaker came out, about less than like a minute left, that creepy intro came on, of the girls dancing and playing, hopscotch. And then he came out on his friggin' bike, and I went ape shit. No, he first came out originally to Kid Rock's American Badass. And then I think he didn't give him any more, no longer gave him rights to play their song. So that's when they went
Rock's in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe he just decided to go with Rollin'. I don't know.
Rolling. What?
To be honest with you, I did prefer American Badass over Rollin', though. Both great songs growing up, but American Badass I thought fit them more and was a little bit more, no pun intended, badass to come out to. I said it.
Yeah. All right, guys. So that is our top 4. Mount Rushmore of WWE. Obviously, we didn't do any other promotions. We probably could have included, but I don't know if I would have taken anybody out to put anybody else in. Kenny Omega is the only other option, I think, out of WWE that I would even consider putting in there. Let us know what you think.
Yes, please. Subscribe and actually leave comments.
Yeah, leave comments. Let us know what you think. If you like it, if you hate it, who your top 4 is, why we're wrong, why you're right. But make sure you hit that like button and then subscribe to Them Wrestling Guys and follow us on Instagram at them_wrestling_guys. I'll put the link down in the description. We have a Facebook page, Them Wrestling Guys. Make sure you throw us a like on there too. And follow Charles the Heel at Charlie Tracky. I'll put that link down here too. So, yeah, let us know what you think. See you next time.